Before we get into today's video, I do just want to make sure I take the time to thank everybody who watched our last video. I appreciate every view and every second of your time is incredibly valuable to me and the people that we have working on these videos as well. So first, much appreciated for everyone that's supporting us at these early stages as well. Love you.
You start tomorrow if you want to.
I don't know why you said to say taking on more bitches.
Mercedes, why is you over there yapping when you the one leading us at the end of the month?
Mercedes' last dance.
Welcome back, everybody, to another That Guy Murph review. Today, we're actually going to be talking about a TV show called P-Valley. This show is about the small fictional town of Chucalissa, Mississippi, and is focused on its premier strip club called The Pink, as well as the people who bring it to life at night while also trying to keep their own lives afloat during the day. As of the filming of this review, only 6 episodes are currently available on Starz, and trust me, you'll want to see more by the time that you get through these first 6. Now, before we get started, let me first tell you that this show has so much more to offer than half-naked women and men. It treats us to some really great characters, a really engaging storyline, and even some really spicy choreography at the same time. So, let's talk about it. So first, let's talk about the characters. As you watch this show, you can't help but fall in love with all of them, but we only have time to go through a few. So what we'll do today is we'll focus on the main 3. Uncle Clifford, Autumn, and Mercedes.
Down before I tell your wife where you was tonight.
I want my cover charge back.
You want your comeback too?
Uncle Clifford is the drag owner of The Pink, which serves as the center of the P-Valley universe. As a character, he is almost as engaging as they come. Personality-wise, he reminds me a lot of Lafayette from True Blood. He exudes confidence in all of his public interactions, but we're also treated to the vulnerability of the character in most of his personal moments. He does an amazing job as a leader of The Pink. Let me explain. Yes, he is running the place into the ground because of his terrible money management skills. However, he demonstrates an amazing amount of emotional intelligence. He shows empathy when he needs to. He's vulnerable when he needs to be, and at the same time, he is able to push his people hard to be able to perform beyond their own expectations. Honestly, we could all learn something from some of Uncle Clifford's rules, but let's switch over to the next character, Autumn.
What's a girl have to do to work here? I mean, do I need to fill out a job application or something?
Autumn is a character who is wrapped in mystery throughout the entire show so far. Very early on, you can tell that she's been through a lot and that she's running from something, and that her past is going to come back to bite her in the most spectacular fashion. As a character, though, she's pretty unlikable, as she's really standoffish and entitled for most of it. And it's really not until that she starts to engage more with the next character that we're about to talk about that she really becomes a bit more humanized. There are a lot of parts, though, throughout these first 6 episodes that you can see that she's really trying to find a way to deal with her trauma. But she holds so much back, it's still difficult to really connect with her during those times. Now let's talk about Mercedes, the queen bee of The Pink, played by the talented Brandee Evans, who absolutely kills this role.
This ish y'all doing right here ain't gonna get y'all no crown. I mean, how y'all just gonna let the South Haven Scissors come and steal your trophy? I mean, how? I asked y'all a question. I did my Shut up!
As the show starts, it's all focused about the build-up to her last dance and her departure from her life as a stripper. Her character really embodies the queen bee mentality. She's very perceptive of the world around her, does not play games, especially when it comes to her money, and even if unwillingly, she can often be found giving tips to her fellow girls. The real draw for this character is that as confident as she acts, she still has her many flaws. And the show makes it clear very early on that one of them is how much she loves her mother. As a character, you admire her drive and dedication, and at the same time you feel for her as you start to see the cracks forming in her solid foundation. So as far as characters go, I'm gonna have to give P-Valley a 9 out of 10. It has some really amazing, well-developed characters. However, it does spend a little too much time on some of its weaker characters. With that being said, the strength of its good characters more than outshadows that experience. So, let's talk about the story itself. As far as story goes, P-Valley has about 3 main storylines that drive the show. Number 1 being Uncle Clifford and his struggle to try to save the pink because of his terrible financial decisions. You also have Mercedes as she is really trying to get out of the stripper life and open up a dance studio. And you also have Autumn as she's running from something. Right? We're not entirely sure what it is. We know it involves a guy that she's apparently afraid of, but we don't yet have all the details of what that situation is. As far as Uncle Clifford's story goes, it's really interesting to see as he tries to struggle between his need to save the pink itself, as well as his need to be a shoulder to lean on for the girls of his club. You'll often see him make choices that puts his people over the actual location itself, and it's another one of the things that really endears him as a character. When we talk about Mercedes, you can also see the struggle that she has trying to build towards this goal, this future that has nothing to do with her dancing naked on a pole, but you can also see the way that her relationship with her mother really tugs on her ability to do that. And I promise you, this is a storyline that pays off quite nicely. Now, at this point, we are still waiting to get a bit more from Autumn's story, as we're still not quite sure where that's going to go or how that's going to play out. But as the shows and episodes continue, you really start to get this feeling that something is about to happen. And look, I gotta be honest, I need to know what this is now, right? They've been teasing me too much for all these episodes. I need to know what happens now. So, as far as story goes, I'm going to have to give P-Valley an 8 out of 10. It has, again, really engaging characters. The storylines of Uncle Clifford as well as Mercedes. Autumn's storyline is a little bit too slow paced, and I'm actually really curious to see how this pays off in the end. Now, we can't talk about a show about strippers without talking about the actual dancing. So, as far as choreography goes, I'm actually going to have to give P-Valley a 7 out of 10. Don't get me wrong, it has some really amazing pole acrobatics and some stunts essentially that really draw you in. However, that's really the extent of it. If it's not on a pole, it's honestly just body rolls or splits. So I think there's more that really could be done there, but at the end of the day, I think it does deliver enough to keep you entertained on an episode by episode basis. But as you start to really watch the show, you realize it's less about the dances and more about the characters. As a bonus category, I really want to talk about the writing behind P-Valley. Honestly, in my experience growing up, most of the black TV shows that I saw typically had subpar writing, subpar production quality, and the acting was often just acceptable at best. P-Valley is one of the recent black TV shows, I think, that changes that perception. When you have any show that can pull you in and have you basically ignore its gimmick, you really start to understand the quality of the writing itself. Because trust me when I say, the dancing, the stripping, it's a gimmick for this show. The real strength of it is in the quality of the story and the quality of the characters that you get. Like, you really start developing connections with these characters as they make their way through the story. So as far as that goes, I'm really going to give this an 8 out of 10. Look, by no means is this a perfect story, but it's really engaging. And as episode 7 is about to come out, I really don't care what dance I'm about to get on this next episode. I want to know what's happening with these characters and where this story is going to take me, because look, I promise you, it is such a wild ride. So again, everybody, thank you for taking the time to watch this review. As we go back through the list, we gave P-Valley a 9 for its characters, an 8 for its story, and a 7 for its choreography. So that actually comes out to a solid 8 as a rating. But remember, we gave it an 8 as well for its writing. So for this show, we're actually going to give it an 8.8. There's so much to love about this show. Even if there were no strippers, I think this would be an amazing show to watch. The fact that this show only has a 6.1 on IMDb right now is an absolute travesty and does not come close to really exploring the quality of the production that this show is. Thank you again. If you enjoyed the review, make sure you drop that like, subscribe to the channel. There will be plenty more coming as we really try to build momentum here. And if there's anything that you want to see reviewed, please go ahead and let us know in the comments, or even let me know directly as well. You can send me an email, whatever it is. So I appreciate everybody taking the time. Thank you again. See you soon.
Like I was saying, some things gonna have to change around here, and y'all bitches better like it.